He said, "That's my weakness."
Wow.
His weakness is the Golden Palace.
Let's actually listen to it. We have it right here.
He knew my weakness because I think Versailles is one of the great places.
What's your weakness?
Like places like Versailles. But no, it's incredible. So, and it's not something they do. I understand that they don't do that. They don't do dinners at Versailles. And we had a fantastic dinner.
So throw me a gold-plated fancy party. That's what it takes.
I know. The Versailles I like is the one in Miami where you can get great Cuban food. Very different place.
By the way,
in
Kentucky we call it Versailles.
To Miami.
Even better. Listen, Donald Trump is a person unto himself. The question for us on the Democratic side is whether or not the rules that apply to Trump are going to be the new rules for everybody. And I think as you start to see some of these candidates emerge who are going to have investigations like Gavin Newsom or tough backgrounds like Plattner in Maine, will people just factor that into the political noise and listen to them talk about what their agendas are? Or are they still going to have some political gravity that attaches to them? But right now, Donald Trump is his own, and in this sphere, he really does create his own weather.
Right, and you never know what's going to happen. Just today, speaking at the G7, actually, this was previously, and then it led to what happened today, Lulu. Trump had said that, you know, the Prime Minister of Italy wanted to or was begging to have a picture with him. She denied that. Let's play the sound of how she's responding to it.
Donald Trump's statements are completely made up. I am frankly astonished. I don't know why the President of the United States behaves like this toward his allies. It's not the first time, moreover. I can only say it is disappointing that he does not show the same determination with the enemies of the West and of the United States, whose leaders he instead treats with far greater indulgence. There is one thing he should remember. Neither I nor Italy ever beg.
And Italy's foreign minister, as a result, canceled this trip. He was supposed to come here to meet with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. What do you make of this?
So first of all, great interview. I'm a huge Marco Caputo fan. Just as we all are. As we all are.
Small club, though.
Yeah.
But powerful, but mighty.
But mighty. Speaking about Giorgia Meloni, listen, this is absolutely asinine what has happened. Giorgia Meloni has been in Europe one of the strongest allies of Donald Trump. She is of the right. She is anti-immigration. They have their differences. She's a strong supporter of Ukraine. But she was seen as sort of the Trump whisperer. And to have this happen, it really doesn't benefit Italy. It doesn't benefit Donald Trump. The real problem that I see is just the language of this. Why would he talk about her begging? And you just hear echoes of this all the time in the new reporting by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan, you know, where he talks all about people begging him and wanting him. And it's this very, very sexist, predatory language that I think has no place in political discourse.
I think the Prime Minister now knows what it's like to be a Republican U.S. Senator. You know, she's eligible to run if she can get her citizenship squared away here. You know, it's I'm equally flabbergasted by this because Giorgia Meloni is Donald Trump's best ally in Western Europe. And furthermore, they share many of the same populist viewpoints and perspectives. And so to the extent he's always said he wishes Europe would conform more to what his view of how things should operate, she's the poster child for that. She's exactly the person for it. So it is odd to me. But partnership does not always come easy to President Trump. And in order to continue to have that relationship with her, it would require being an equal partner, much like he has to be an equal partner with John Thune. And that's just not his favorite paradigm.
Well, you know, the thing is, you talk about equal partnership. We all know